We're here for this sit down with Pete Rubish. And the first thing I want to know personally is, I know a lot of us kind of learned about lifting and training in solitude. A lot of guys learn how to train in the basement. I actually had a makeshift bench in my bedroom where I'd go and train every night when I was like 15 years old. And to me at least, the first time I became aware of Pete Rubish, the internet sensation that was Pete Rubish, was this maniac, young dude, deadlifting ridiculous weight in his basement. Tell me about the basement. Tell me how all that started. Tell me about the washer and dryer behind you. Where were you and what were you doing? And what made you think, all right, I'm going to start taping this shit and putting it online?
Yeah, so I started lifting in my parents' basement when I was about 14 years old. My dad had just started working out and I wanted to try it out myself. So I was even doing some of that like P90X stuff. And it just got more serious from there. I started doing the main lifts when I was maybe like 15. And I found out right from the beginning that I was like really good at deadlift in particular. Squats as well I was pretty good at, but deadlift was the lift that just spoke to me and I could get all the aggression out and I just loved it. Like it felt like the more intense you were, the better you did. So eventually we laid down a platform, some horse stall mats right in front of the washer and dryer there. And that's where I made these huge leaps of progress over the years, and everybody kind of saw this because I don't know, at one point I was looking on YouTube and I was looking at deadlifting videos and there really wasn't much up there. YouTube was relatively new and I was like, heck, I'm doing more than these guys and everything. So I started putting my videos up, and the intensity and all that stuff, that was not for show. That was how I was at the time. I liked being intense. I liked giving it all I had. And people, they fell in love with that. That spoke to them. They saw the passion I had for it, and pretty soon these videos were just going viral. And one thing led to another with that.
Well, when was the moment that you realized, like, oh shit, what I'm doing is pretty impressive and people actually care? Like, how did you become aware that you were gaining a following?
Well, I'd see just the reactions to it. A lot of stuff was posted up, bodybuilding.com. That kind of kicked off a lot of stuff, but I saw the comments, I saw the reactions to everything, and people were like saying how amazing it was, and I knew it was pretty good, but I didn't, know that good or anything.
Right.
And just kept coming basically, more and more. It just grew and grew.
How long from that point? How long was it from that point until when you started competing fully?
I did my first meet when I was 17, and it really didn't go well. I was overwhelmed with everything, the commands. The whole thing was a disaster. So I didn't want to compete again after that. But there were some local meets in the area that the Lily Bridges were doing, and I decided to compete alongside them. And I didn't do that great for a while. There's been a period of time, much of my life, where I was just known as a gym lifter. Like I could lift heavy in the gym, but when it came time to get out on the platform, I just couldn't put it together and my numbers weren't that great. And that's not the case anymore, but that's how it was for a while. So powerlifting has kind of been something that I've grown into and I've gotten better at and more serious with, and now I love it.
Was that important to you, like to not just be known as a gym lifter? Like, I just like think of like the difference between like being like a ball player and being like a playground legend versus being able to do it like, in actual organized ball, like where it counts, where people are watching you, where, it's official, you know what I mean? Did that mean something to you for the weights and all that stuff to be official, to be done in a on a platform and in a public forum? Was that important?
Not always, but in the last few years, that's been something I've gotten much more serious about. I don't want to just hit these big lifts in the gym and then not be one of the top guys in the world on the platform. So at this point in time, I try to hit the big gym lifts still, but I still want to be ranked at the top. I still want to be the best. And every meet, I'm just trying to improve. I'm trying to get my total up, but at the same time, I'm hanging with the best and I want to be the best, and that's still the ultimate goal. So it's been something within probably the last 2 years that has really hit home, and I've started taking meets much more seriously, looking at every weakness, not just having a good deadlift, but having a good squat too now, and that bench is starting to get there. It's still probably my worst lift, but at least it's getting respectable, and I think 500 is possible at some point next year.